that's some of the larch in the background there that we've been felling. So we're clear of felling the larch, we're going to plant it up with broadleaves again. That larch will be used in our biomass boiler if we ever get one going. But so we don't have one yet, it's all in my little mind. The cows here, there's 50 cows, 52 cows, and they're calves. And these are milked, the cows are milked once a day. The cows and calves are separated at night. Ideally we would separate them from about 6 weeks, but the calved in March and April and returned out in early May, and we weren't organised to start with, and then by the time we got organised there was no grass, so we were just had to run them here and there. So they've been spoiled a bit this year. The calves have stayed with the mums 24 hours a day right up until 2 weeks ago. So we're now reaching the point where we're trying to introduce the idea that separation isn't a bad thing, which isn't going down a bundle. They're learning very quickly because they're that bit older, and when you start at 6 weeks it just becomes routine. And indoors we have two herds. The other herd is over there. They were calved back in November and then weaned in April, and they were indoors the calves and cows were indoors all the time together, separated from 6 weeks, and that all worked perfectly. It has worked really well. And by the time they were turned out, the calves and cows had been separated completely, although they were still in the same building right next door to each other. And then the cows went outside for a couple of weeks, and then the calves went away to their own fields, and it was relatively stress-free. And that's the whole thing. The whole thing about this system is about cutting out stress. Stress, I mean, it's a sort of thing that and it's not just the animals, it's us as well. I think that's probably more important, because the intensive systems, looking nowhere in particular, top of the hill there, are very stressful. They are very stressful. Yes, they are. They're very stressful. So, and that leads very much to susceptibility to all sorts of problems. This is about as stress-free as you can get, but we're introducing a bit of stress now because we're starting to get them used to the idea of separating, and that's not good. But they're learning very quickly because they now know they rush us when we're separating them at the gate. As in the evening, if you're lucky, you might be able to see us scrambling around. They've learned that if they rush us at the gate, they can overwhelm us. So we're now introducing having to need we only needed 2 people initially, but we're now needing 3 people to get the job done, because they've learned to mob the gate, and then the calves can slip through. So it was a bit of a disaster 2 nights ago, but we've learned, and so it's a game. It's a bit of a game. So the cows go off, and they go off gradually. They've been coming to these fields initially, and then they went to the field across the road, and then the field further away. Gradually we're trying to get that divide, introduce the idea of separation, and then they'll be weaned. They'll be weaned next week fully, and they won't like it, no, but they get over it very quickly. It's remarkable how quickly they adjust, because they're already on their grazing. Calves are grazing, they're on solid feed as well, supplementary feed, so their rumens, their stomachs are fully developed. They're half grown. I mean, some of these calves are quarter of a ton. You know, they're big calves. So and they've been growing at about 1 1/3 kilos a day. So they grow really, really fast. Of course, they're drinking about 20 litres of milk. It's a lot of milk. Especially when you think I could be selling it. But we'll come to that, the economics of it, later on maybe.
How are the cows in the separation? Are they okay with that?
No, they don't like it either.
They don't like it either.
No, they kind of fuss about it, but they kind of say, okay, right, well, we're not happy. We've demonstrated our unhappiness. but we'll go down and particularly the field they're going to, they don't really like either. So that doesn't help. And there's
This summer has been a challenge because of
moments.
grass not growing and
It's just been so difficult.
just not having good grass anywhere until very recently.
So the cows themselves are crossbreds, okay? So there's a three-way cross. There's one of the sires we use is a Montbéliard, which is French. Another is the Swedish Red, which is an Ayrshire, I believe, that went to Sweden 100 years ago and was bred there successfully, and a very good cows, good feet and legs. The Montbéliard has beefing qualities, so there's a dual purpose, dairy and beef, and there's the Holstein, of course. But there's Holsteins and Holsteins. The Holsteins we select. There's a huge range of Holsteins, so you get a catalogue and with all the characteristics of the bulls that they'll pass on to their heifers, their young stock, and you can select the type of characteristics that you want to have in your stock. So we select for low yields, high solids for cheese making, and good feet and legs and locomotion, just a general robust sort of cows. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're breeding a robust cow that looks after itself, so that when we get things wrong a little bit, they don't crash out. They absorb that. Any dairy farmer looking at these cows would say they're fat. They're certainly not thin. And some of them are certainly not fat either, but there are some fat ones too. So that's the three. So we cross them three ways. So if the mother has a Monty look about it, Montbéliard look about it, then we put it to the Holstein. If it's a Holstein look about it, we put it to the Swedish Red, and the Swedish Red look about it, then it goes to the Montbéliard. So it's continually a rolling cross, and that's to stop any inbreeding, and also to keep the vigor, the hybrid vigor. Okay, so that's the cows. Milked once a day. Initially we're getting about 10 litres from the cows. The calves are drinking probably about 10 litres, then the calves drink more and more, and after about 90 days the calves are drinking pretty well everything. And the cow will hang on to that even though she's only been milked once a day. So the separation gives us the chance to get some milk, and we get about 5 litres per cow, and she hangs on to the rest. The 5 litres that we do get from the cows from once a day milking and suckling is like skim milk or semi-skimmed. The butter fat is about just over 2%. Normally it will go over 4.5%, more than double that. But the protein is about 3.5 to 4%. Normally it would be nearer 3. So we get a high protein, low butter fat, which is not good when you're trying to make cheese out of it because it upsets the balance. After we wean them, they bounce back, and we're then getting 20-25 litres from each cow per day. But we put them on twice a day milking because they can't hold that amount of milk all the time. While the calves are constantly suckling them, they're not holding a lot of milk. That calf there will be almost 300 kilos. That's a third of a ton. That's a 5-month-old calf. They are quite friendly, they are inquisitive. So there's no stress. Relatively fairly stress-free until we separate them. Anything else? Any questions? Soak up the ambience.
I think you're getting used to the scratching face now.
He's the big boy. He's the big boy. He's the boss calf.
Then you've got to just go with that because it's any resistance will be snap your legs.
I said, you know, the economics is a bit doubtful because before we were organic, we would feed milk replacer, so they didn't even get proper milk, and they would drink about 250 litres of milk replacer over 8 weeks, and then they'd be weaned. So they'd be separated from the mothers at 24 hours and taken away and bucket reared on milk replacer for 8 weeks. Then when we were organic, the rules were that they had to be whole milk, and it had to be, didn't have to be with the mothers, but it had to be whole milk, and it had to be organic, fed for 12 weeks. So they were getting 450 litres, which I grudged enormously because that was a huge amount of milk that we could have sold. Now these calves will be drinking over a 5-month period, will be drinking between 2 and 2,500 litres of milk that I could be selling, right? So the big question, and always this the big question, because we had this question since we opened the farm and had visitors coming here, the question was, why are you taking the calves away from the mothers? Because we'd always do farm tours, and visitors used to come down, see the calves separated and the cows down there, and thinking, why are you doing this? Well, that's the reason, 2 to 2,500 litres of milk. And so that was always the total block was, well, we'd be out of business, 2 to 2,500 litres. I mean, 450 I grudge, there's no way that we can make that work. But we did a trial. We've been looking at this for a long time, and we did a trial 6 years ago with 37 cows. You're a bully, you're just chasing
My
away.
turn.
And 37 cows, and we did it for 6 months. We said, right, that's it, we're not going back to this. This is a nightmare. No milk, and it's total stress. The calves were running circles around us because we weren't set up properly, the building wasn't set up properly, and we just said that's it. But we had a student here who did the numbers, he crunched the numbers, he had no, in fact he was going to be a vet in a mega dairy, so he had no interest in what we were doing particularly. And he did a paper, and the paper said, well, you know, it might work. The benefits that flow from this system is calves grow very quickly. Therefore, they are finishing much more quickly. They're finishing much more quickly. You're turning the young stock over a lot more quickly, about 10 months quicker. So the heifers are ready for breeding 10 months earlier. The beef animals, are ready for market 10 months earlier, the same way. That releases a lot of forage because those animals from, say, 16, 20 months aren't there anymore because they've gone, or they're in the herd as breeding cattle, or we've sold them from breeders. That releases forage, which allows us to increase the cow numbers. Now, I'm afraid to say such. We've taken that a step further because we're now introducing the possibility of rosy veal, which I don't know if anybody's heard of.
I was wondering what you do with the boys.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm just a human. Once they get to about 350 kilos, that's about 8 to 10 months of age, 350 kilos, and we start selling them for rosy veal. And that's with a partner business in the Borders who are charcuterie, farm-based charcuterie business, and they take a couple of every fortnight over in a little trailer, and they go into the beef market. Don't listen to me. So so that's what we're doing. That releases more forage, and that allows us to. So instead of having 100 cows, we can go to 125 cows with the standard beef arrangements, or weights. But if we're getting rosy veal, we can go to about 130, 135 cows. What that means is the calves are drinking about a third of the milk. If I can increase the cow numbers by a third, then I'm not quite, but I'm almost getting back. possible. We're not there. We're only halfway through our transition to the farm. We're doing the whole herd, but it takes time for the benefits to feed through. So that we're increasing our numbers are now 115. We're halfway there. I kind of panicked last year because I needed some money, and I sold 16 heifers to a dairy farmer. So we could have been up near 130 by this time of this year, but I wasn't confident we could manage them through the summer. And in a way, that was quite a relief because we didn't have any grass. But by this time next year, I'm hoping that we'll be up at 130 cows, and that our milk yield will be almost back to where they were. But we will have more cattle to sell out of a system that is closed. So we're not bringing in more stuff to make that happen. It is happening within the system. So it is actually more efficient, productive, which is good. Sustainable intensification. And yet we're getting all these benefits. You know, the animals. I mean, I can only say, yeah, I feel slightly guilty because these beautiful young animals are. Some of them are going for the meat market, but they're going there anyway. And as long as they have a great life, I think that's all we can offer. It's the best we can offer.
We asked our butcher for some rosé veal, and he said, oh no, you can't get it. He said because farmers buy sperm that selects that's been you don't get veal calves.
Well, something. It's not a big thing yet, but it's increasing because the bigger dairies go through the cows so quickly they can't get enough replacements, so they have to breed 4 heifers for females to get enough replacements to keep them there going. So that's the essence of what we're doing. We're just trying to give our animals the best possible life that we can within a system which is what it is.
Well, David referred to the first year we did it 6 years ago, and that was traumatic to say the least. And then we did it last year, and then again this year, and we're now seeing significant differences and significant improvements. So we're learning as well as them learning.
It's just what Wilma was saying there. The first winter we were separating the cows and the calves at night, and it took a long time before the cows trusted us when we were trying to get them not separated at night, when we separated them, because they were with the cows were with the calves 24 hours a day at the first stage in the first 6 weeks, but it was separating the cows to come in for milking. And he's a real pest now. And the cows that first winter took a long time to trust us to give the calves back, because for always when they came back from the milking, the calf was gone, always. And then this last winter, you know, within a couple of days of calving, you know, there's a lot of stress at calving, and we try to minimise the stress. We're trying to do all sorts kinds of things to keep that as to absolute minimum. And you know, it's calving; it's a big deal. And you know, within 2 or 3 days of calving, the cows are actually coming to the parlour. You know, so they're learning. They're trusting us. Yes, they're trusting us. So that's what we're learning. We're learning that how sentient these animals are. You know, they are very aware of what is going on. They've been born into captivity. They are captives, and they know that. They know there's a deal here, and that everything is a compromise. And what we do find is that we've given them an inch, and they want a mile. You know? But they can't. You know, life is a compromise. It is. You know? It is a compromise. So all I'm saying is that it sounds crazy. It sounds unlikely. It sounds like it's a gimmick, but we think it actually could work. It could work economically, even within existing price structures, and but it's not easy. It's like the ecological farming. It is not easy. It takes a long time to find out how to make it work, but it is possible. And I know there's one or two young farmers and a couple of beef guys that were dairy farming went to beef and can't make a living at it and want to go back to dairy, but they don't want to do the modern dairy systems, and they're looking at it as well. So there are farmers looking at this as a possible, if we can get it to work, if we can demonstrate that it is a working possibility option, then. But it costs a lot of money. Up front you're losing a lot of milk because the first year that milk disappears into cattle, and so half my milk, instead of it was about £100,000 worth of milk, disappeared into cattle. So that, and you don't get it back because it's always tied up, but gradually the benefits start feeding through, and we're hoping again that cows will live longer because it's low stress. You milk once a day, got your calves with you, very low stress. We've got old cows here that probably a couple of years ago would have been going, I think it's time they were moving on when we ticket, and they're still here. So 17-year-old cows, 16-year-old cows, we've got a handful of them, and they're working away fine, you know. It's just as long as you can get through the calving, which is quite a strain on them, then they work away great style. They're milking well.
You won't know that for a while, will you?
Well, that's right. But again, replacement rate is a big thing, a big factor in dairy farming, because if the faster your cows are burning out, the more replacements you've got to bring through, which is a huge drag on the system. So if I've got less replacements to bring on, then it means I've got more cattle to sell, which makes the system economic. Anyway, the other side of the coin. So what we're looking at, we're trying to look at a food system that adds value, adds jobs, creates added value, creates jobs, but is taking away from our supply industry. Sorry guys, we're taking it away from you and giving it to the guys on the ground. That's what we're trying to do, because farmers are between a rock and a hard place. A rock and a hard place. And at one end, we've got the supply industry screwing every penny out of us that they can, and at the other end we've got the retailers and wholesalers and processors giving us the minimum amount that they can get away with, and we're in the middle, and we've got to try and survive that. So we're trying to come out of that system by producing our own inputs, our own supplies, our fertilizers, our energy, our feedstuffs, and then take control of our product as well through to the customer. And if the customer is happy with what we're doing, then maybe they'll buy our product.
Does the cheese production have to wait till the calves are weaned then to get the proper?
Well, we've got two herds. So what happens is, when one herd is, we've got nothing, almost nothing from them, although we get 250 litres from these girls. That herd over there, that was they're November calvers, so we started to dry them off because they get a 2-month holiday before they calve again. But they've been keeping the milk going all summer, and they milk really well. Look at that calf. He's a I'm looking at it with the wrong eyes. Look at that. So cheese. So the next step is then the production of the